This is a quick example of a banana profile again on a pair of skates. Both of these hockey skates have 271 size runners, and this one is closer to the stock form. Generally it'll look sort of like this. This has usually got a 9 or 10 foot radius, and then it has a graceful arc over to here, and there's a fairly big step onto here. You can see this one still has a decent amount over here. This particular one's a different pair I got in, and it's been really ground down. The back here, this grinds right down to the holder over here, and compare these two. These are the same skate holders, both 271. This one here has been ground. Somebody's gone through and ground all this off. It's kind of crazy. So if you were used to using this skate and somebody went ahead and did this to it, you're going to have a totally weird time. This one here comes in here like this, and it completely goes to this point. If you go above where the hex is, they've ground this whole thing like this down, and not so much over here. Now you could say some of that's due to the wear. This is a couple millimeters smaller, but the profile shouldn't over time change radically like this. This is due to somebody on a hand sharpening wheel has gone back and just aggressively ground this down. Now they may want it like that, but one of the problems is that where you're skating like this, there's a certain point here you don't want to go feel like you're going to bust your butt and fall over. Here they've ground this way down, so the force that goes through the line of contact here is very small. So if you're up like this, all the force that's holding you on the ice is going to go down through this way, and it's going to be way forward. So in order not to bust your butt, you're going to have to be leaned over like a gorilla on this thing, because otherwise you're going to fall back like this. And so it's really strange. I've never seen one this far gone where somebody's really put a huge radius way down in here. They've cut a huge amount off. And this is kind of amazing looking at the difference in these two. This one completely goes to here. This one goes up almost a centimeter here before it even goes over. And that's normally what a skate looks like. This is a step blade here. There's an extra 2 millimeter taller, but it doesn't have some crazy ground all the way down to here and just a little bit above this. So you got to be careful you don't go through and either get a used pair or have somebody grind all this down in a crazy way, because you're gonna have a slower skate, because more maneuverable because there's less on the ground here, but you're going to tend to want to go ahead and bust your butt like this, because if you lean back here, you're going to go, it's an unsteady thing. So this is totally weird. This looks almost like a brand new pair of skates, but really, something like this, to change it back even remotely like this, you'd have to grind this even farther down to start to recover this. It's so far gone, you just need to replace a blade on that, because in order to get the curvature to where it's not so crazy over here, you're going to have to grind this so far down that what's going to happen when you go ahead and lean over, you're going to go ahead and contact the ice. Now here it's not that much, but if you start grinding this down another 1/4 of an inch, one, you're going to go ahead and burn up a bunch of a wheel to do that, and two, even a profile here, this is a ProSharp Quad 1, it doesn't have anything remotely close to being like that. It's just kind of crazy. And this is for a shorter skate, for 255 and whatever. This has got 4 different radius. This is useful from 221 up to a little bit higher than that, but this is not, this has got just a crazy curve on it. And that's what happens sometimes in used skates. You get something where you probably need to go ahead and factor in the cost of getting a new runner, because this is beyond fixing. I mean, in order to go ahead and reprofile that, you're going to lose, you have to take so much of the blade off, it's not going to have any contact down here. So that's kind of crazy. So that's the point of the video, just showing an absurdity where somebody's gone through and just just completely ground all this down way too much. And over here, this contact point touches actually here, and it's about this point over here, and below here it's like this. They've actually got this thing to where it's not, it's probably about a millimeter to here, but they've literally ground all this off to go ahead and this from this. This is both 271 runners. The runner size is under here. 271. So if you get new blades, you've got to go ahead. This is older style that are bolted on. Yep, they're matched by the size. These are both 7.5 skates. And so they have the same size runners, 271. And a lot of times they will have roughly the same size, depends on what the model is. But the pitch here is different. So this skate here, this is a 255. It's not going to bolt in there. That's what the deal is. So factor that in. If you get a used pair, you can have a blade that's so boogered up that you can't do anything. I had a pair I bought years ago that was CCM 11 1052s long time ago, and they were a brand new boot like this, and they had this thing completely whaled down like this, and it was terrifying to be on because you had to lean way over, and if you just tried to be vertical, boom, you would go through and want to kick over. And that's why these were are goofed up, ground way too, profiles all screwed up on those. This has actually been profiled here to a quad by ProSharp. It doesn't look anything like that. This curve is profiled to this from here to here. It's got 4 radii. It doesn't look anything like this. And this is one where somebody just sat there and they went back and forth and they just ground the heck out of this in the back and over here. And if you can't stand on this, this just makes a slow skate because the part that's contacting that's actually flat is just a small region, so you're going to go slower. Now if you want to screw around and do a lot of tight maneuvering, this can corner it sometimes way better, but the danger is on here is you grind this down and you end up falling over backwards. The same thing on a figure skate. This is a major error. You don't want to go ahead and figure skates start grinding down the back like that or anywhere change the profile.